Please don't be offended or discouraged by what I'm going to say, because this is 200% my personal opinion. Playing in an orchestra is one of the most amazing feelings in the world. But here I tell you why I don't want a full-time orchestral job. I started to play lever harp when I was 8 years old, and at 11 I started to play the pedal harp, and at 14 I had my first orchestral experience with Péléas et Mélisande by Fauré. It was such a fantastic experience, and I think playing in the orchestra, it's one of the coolest feelings in the world. And I had the chance to play in the last 17 years fantastic music with all of these composers.
Debussy, Shostakovich, Verdi, Tchaikovsky, Ravel, Mahler, Mascagni, Mussorgsky.
But through these experiences, I also found out why I don't want to be full-time committed with an orchestra. First, you play too little. In a 6 hours rehearsal, the harp gets to play maybe 6 minutes. And for me, I don't feel like when the trumpet or the brass section is playing, I play with them. I really need the physicality of the harp, so I really miss it. You could say, well, you go home after the rehearsal and you practice or you play. But the problem is that you're absolutely exhausted because listening, paying attention, concentrate, count bars, listening to everybody, listening to the conductors, it takes an awful amount of energy. Second reason, very often you're not heard. When I go to concert and I specifically look for the harp sound, I can see the hands moving and very difficult passages, and I've played them myself as well. You practice so much and you put a lot of effort, and then there is a fortissimo section and nobody hears you. You absolutely don't hear the harp. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. Third, I have a lot of non-musicians friends who complain about their bosses. And that's actually a problem when you play under a boss that you don't share the musical ideas with, or you don't agree with his or her way of treating people, and you actually feel bad because the biggest example for me was with a very, very well-known conductor, not the first one you meet in the road, a very well-known conductor who at the end of a piece, there was like 5-1 as a pizzicato with strings. Instead of giving a clear sign to get this kind of sound, bum, bum, he would do this gesture. And the result was like, bam, bam. Oh, that didn't seem to bother him for 6 days of rehearsal and 2 concerts, but it drove me crazy. Fourth reason, you cannot choose the repertoire. One of the best advantages of being an independent musician is that you have the freedom, and you also have the freedom to choose what you're going to play. If I was in an orchestra and I had to play a lot of music I don't like, it would be very, very hard for me. If you have an orchestral job or if you're looking for one of them, you have the best reason. Playing in the orchestra is fantastic. I completely agree with that. I just think that it's a bit of a shame that especially classically trained harpists seem to think that that's the only way of making it work as a musician, to join an orchestra. And that's not so. I find it's important to do a lot of different experiences in order to see what's good for you. Because you always have to balance everything. And for me, the fun and the enjoyment and the sound created by the orchestra is fantastic, but it's not worth all the other side that I've just mentioned. I love playing in orchestras and I'm called to play every so often and I really, really love it. But I'm very glad I don't do it every day. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Take care.